Yeah, bitch, I'm stylish. Long t-shirt, Billie Eilish. On some lit shit, I can't open my eyelids. I don't sleep. Yeah.
Welcome to another Three Aficionados. We're here going to talk about everything that makes Daniel all excited. Everything analog, cars, watches, and other things that are inappropriate. But we'll definitely discuss them. We're going to talk a little bit about new acquisitions in the cars and the watches. And maybe we'll chat a little bit about some recent unveiling of Lamborghinis and maybe some GPHG winners that I'm pretty proud to have. So with that, let's pop it off, boys. This was not well prepared. 3, 2, and excellent radio. Yeah, Daniel and I are struggling. It's not good.
It's good health.
Up to the raspberries of Peter.
It's not a raspberry today.
What are you?
It's a little different.
Brew?
It is there's a lot of different things going on here. It says Sunday Fuzz, but then up top it says just peachy. So it is another wild rose. But for anyone watching the podcast, it's got quite a funny label. It's got like a dog with like some peaches around him. I don't really know. It's a peach Heffenweisen.
That's a peach fuzz that goes well with the duster that's growing on the top of Peter's lip.
There we go. Exactly. It helps the fuzz to grow.
That's nice and dense.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad your
coming.
mustache is back. I was missing it.
Yeah, it's coming in. Took a little bit.
All three of us growing different levels of density.
Exactly. Yeah.
Different areas of growth.
That's right.
What are you guys drinking?
I've got a nice tea because feeling a bit under the weather. So I've got a beautiful chocolate chai.
Chocolate.
It's nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for not giving me too hard of a time. Pass it on quick there, Steve, before you guys.
You would be giving me.
We were just about to start. No.
I'm gonna support the group with the Leffa that's partially blurred out like a 90s rap video.
He's going old school.
Guinness mug. Mm-hmm.
Is Steve really quiet on your end, Daniel, or is that just me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure no one's going to appreciate the volume that Steve's talking at.
Yeah, it's really
Nobody
quiet.
wants to hear me anyway.
No, I thought it was just me for a minute, and then Peter spoke up, and yeah, thank you. Can you talk up, Steve?
I'll talk up.
No, louder.
Weird,
Can
yeah.
everybody hear me? I'm
If
glad
the audio
we
is
all
crap.
talk a little bit about.
The audio's poof in the bed here.
It doesn't matter because I'm recording, so it doesn't really matter whether you can hear me or not. I'll just talk at you.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What are we sporting on the Duster's wrist there, Peter? What's on the...
I was sporting the G-Shock, the Casio jellyfish, so the clear one, anyone who is not watching. But yeah, I've had this watch for quite a while. I honestly haven't worn it too much recently because I got the Field Medic, but yeah, I threw it on the wrist today and felt good. It felt nice to have it back on. It's comfortable overall. It's I don't know, it's just one of like a nice tool watch. It's kind of just nice to throw around, do what you need it for kind of thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a good, like, if I honestly don't really use it necessarily for like the functionality of it kind of thing. Like I don't really like use it as a stopwatch. Like I use the light sometimes, but that's basically about it. So I don't really use it for that sense, but I do find it's like quite useful just for the fact that like with like work and things like that, I don't got to worry about, what's on my wrist and like what's there. And if it does get dirty or something like that, I can quite easily clean it. So I do kind of find it kind of easy in that factor. And that's kind of my reasoning for, I guess, saying it's more of a tool watch, but that may just kind of be more of a tool watch for me. But yeah, what's on your guys' list?
Do you have a clear winner there? The jellyfish or the Field Medic?
I don't know, because they have like different, like, I don't know, it's hard because like I thought for like a while like the Field Medic was kind of like, but like I threw this back on today and this is kind of like, I don't know, overall this is still like one of my like more like, I think like for what it is, it's like a cool piece and stuff like that, and it kind of has like a, I don't know, it looks cool, and it's like was my first G-Shock kind of thing. Maybe I had one when I was younger, but at least my first G-Shock like now. So it's at least my first Casio. So I would be hard for me to like decide at the moment. I have like a really hard time like differentiating like favorites in a sense, and that to me would be one kind of like hard to put on. But they both kind of have a different purpose. Like if you want something that looks a little bit dressier and I think is a little bit more functional if you want to use it for the chrono, the Field Medic is probably more useful. But the light on this is actually kind of useful at night, and like this is like one thing you got to even worry about less than the Field Medic. Like if I were to like hit the Field Medic off of something, I'd like check to make sure the titanium case is okay. But if I hit this, it's like, oh, okay, hit it again, it'll be fine, right? So I don't know. It's kind of justifiable those ways, but I would be hard for me to kind of put a finger on it.
Put a finger. That's
Yeah.
how Peter rolls in his role. I'm gonna go next so that Daniel can go next, so that I can do another reveal that comes after this reveal. I'm wearing another favorite of Daniel's, which I think will be followed up by another car that will be another favorite of Daniel's. I thought that it was well matched to this occasion. We're wearing the Cartier Santos de Cartier. This is the steel medium, so it has no date, and it's on the bracelet, which I really like. I think in the bracelet it looks a little bit smaller than when you see it on the strap, but it has a really nice integration all the way around and has beautiful adjustments, and you can just pop the pins right out, strap right on, pop the pins and strap on. That's how we do it with Cartier. Yeah, so I really like it. It's getting some nice wrist time. I think it has a place in my collection, whether it gets much wrist time or not. But yeah, I think it's a nice formal watch that it still can kind of be worn all around. But for me, I think it fits more of a formal, smaller, romantic kind of aspiration back to the good old days of mustaches and dancing. Mustache dancing. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Daniel,
Yeah.
why don't you
That
share
watch
your
is
mustache and dance
that's
and your watch?
I love that Cartier. That's a top 10 strap on for me. The
Put pins and strap it on.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna ride that all the way. Today I'm wearing my Swiss Army medic. No, not medic. Sorry, just field watch. My gosh, Peter threw me off earlier. So it's not a field medic watch, not at all. This is purely a beautiful watch for doing whatever the hell you want. It's got 100 meters water resistance, rubber bracelet, toughest nails, freaking case, and I love it. So I think I've tried memorizing the serial number before for everybody, but yeah, no, it's not at all. It's not at all happened. So it's the 020559364. So obviously I've memorized that. Quite obvious.
Yeah.
For those of you not watching, I memorized that. Perfect. And I know that it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to keep it for a long time. Unfortunately, the rubber strap's starting to go on it. I'm going to have to replace that. And otherwise, love this puppy. It's one of my favorite day-to-day watches. So
What kind of straps?
Here.
I'm so confused right now.
Are you gonna answer there, or Daniel just froze up there?
I don't think he heard you. He said, "What kind of strap?"
What
Are you
kind of
gonna
straps would you look for?
I'd probably look for a replacement rubber strap.
Just straight up?
Before that, I'd replace the audio system on your end. But after that's fixed, then I would look for a replacement strap.
Well, that's immediately move on to a nice transition, but you didn't answer the question in a long enough tangential response.
Now I'm trying to talk faster for the sake of making it amusing.
There's Steve with his Cartier on his wrist with his
fucking
internet just shitting the
I just want to
everyone.
get to the new transition here where we're gonna show you the new car if I can actually get it to fucking work, but I've got an echo here, so it's gonna fuck up. Is it fucking up?
Do what you need. No, it's not echoing too bad. It's not anymore, really. Our
Well, I'm
sickly
bringing you out to the new acquisition in the goddamn freezing cold. We
Yeah,
got the BMW M5 E39 for visual quality. We'll see if I can turn it around.
Oh, you're outside too. Wow.
Yeah.
This is commitment right here, people. Steve, you gotta turn your fuzziness off.
Yeah, we're outside and we're inside now.
You
We're in the
gotta turn the fuzzy.
M5. And
gotta
this is it.
turn the
And you
fuzzy
can't see
off.
any of it?
No, it's all fuzzy.
Well, it's a black M5. It's a metallic black. I can't remember the exact actually description, but it's got like this blue metallic green flake to it, and it's 2000. It's black on black, and it's a real gem. Daniel, you should be here enjoying this.
Man, I'm speechless.
Yeah,
You hear me okay? I said I am speechless.
I can hear you okay.
Good. Test. I'm
But maybe I
speechless.
should turn off my blurred background effect.
There you go. I was trying to say, turn off the flare.
This is what happens when elderly people try to use technology.
One of my favorite details on the E39 are the rear seat reading lights. There's just something that I find so cool about them. Now I know that's a bit of a weird nerdy thing, but if Steve was to pan behind him again, you'd see these little lights over each of the passenger's shoulders in the rear seat. And they're on when the lights are on, obviously. There we go. Bam. Those are dope.
That's
Now,
cool.
Most BMWs have reading lights like that. A lot of luxury cars do, but there's something about the ones in the E39 that I think they're just kind of like super luxurious. And what an amazing car.
Why don't we take you for a little stroll around the block?
Let's do it.
It's a beautiful winter evening for a drive.
It's a
It is.
safe activity to go.
Oh man, this guy's such an idiot for a doctor. It's amazing.
Lights kind of like
It's
telling
amazing
me
how
to
this
not
guy
shift
saved
over
Peter's
5,000.
life, but can't figure out how to work the fucking internet.
That's right. I'm rolling on data.
What kind of tires you got going on there?
The Michelin X-Ices.
Absolutely. Now, did you try driving the car with summer tires yet, or just
it's
with
pretty
winter
nice.
tires?
It's a two owner prior to me. They're more mature owners than me. I received it with the summer tires, and then I got the winter tires. And it's still a really great ride. It's a great cruiser, and turning off the traction control, it becomes a hooligan. You just have to respect it, and it's got a nice transition to oversteer. So yeah, I'm really loving it. I think it's a great all-arounder. I can't believe I'm actually getting away driving it all year round so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
It had a lot of grip, actually. I was super impressed the other day, like with the tires, how grippy it was, kind of thing. Like he was going
That
through
was
like
all driver.
Yeah,
that's
there
all
you
tire, man.
That was all driver.
All tire.
Yeah, we were going through like a slushy parking lot, and it was like no slip at all. Like, and you could tell
Oh, it was
wasn't-
slipping. It was slipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
Steve's just.
It's got
It's
the
slipping
free
inside.
LCI facelift look, so it's not with the halos. But I think it looks pretty classic. I kind of prefer it almost now. In retrospect, I mean, everyone probably wanted the post facelift of the 2001,
Yeah.
but I really like it. The only modifications are a Borla exhaust, and then the deck was upgraded to the facelift version of the deck. Yeah, I think it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
100,
very
just a
dope.
little over 100,000 kilometers, which is pretty low for an M5 E39. Not delivery miles, but it's not a collector. It's meant for daily driving in style. So
There you go.
It doesn't matter if it's a collector or not, because it's always a classic. You know,
either way, I'm gonna drive the balls off of it. So I think
yeah, you should enjoy that car.
the more I thought about this car, the more I thought about like getting new daily driver cars. I was like, this is cheaper and more interesting and exciting. So why not do it?
Well, I don't know if it's cheaper than a normal daily driver. Let's just clarify that. But
It's cheaper right
for
now. In
Steve's
the long run,
perception
maybe
of
not.
things, this is normal. I'm gonna
Well,
go and buy an old car with rear wheel drive and a V8 and drive it in the winter in Canada.
Well,
That's
winter
the
was
right thing to
coming, and
do.
I was like, "Hey, where's the Civic Type R?" And "Hey, where's the GR Corolla?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Not ready." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And my wife's like, "You can't keep on taking my car." And I was like, "I can't bike all the time."
Yeah,
So this
and
and
you
a
know it's
fat bike
better than
gets
an
me
E30.
around for the year. Yeah,
You know it's better than a 330 is an M5. So
yeah. Well, I got the 330 over there, and it's dirty as fuck, and it's not getting driven.
yeah,
So
but
this
I mean,
bad boy's coming out all night.
classic wife move. You're not allowed to drive it anymore. I want it.
Well, she's out of country, so I can
Right.
drive whatever I want.
Right. I
It could
forgot
be
she
the
was off
G
doing
wagon,
the
it could be the
celebrity thing.
330, or it could be the M5.
I think you got to put winter tires on your Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean
Can you
that's an
imagine the GT2 with winter tires on it?
Oh God,
Oh,
that would
That would
really
be
put its
insane.
traction control to the test.
whatever.
Yeah. Oh man, I think the 430 with some good studded winters would be pretty amazing.
That'd be sick. You
The
imagine?
car rides so well. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a nice ride.
Yeah.
I was in it the once, and I'll tell you that was pretty. It was pretty cool. It was an interesting feeling. That's the only Ferrari I've actually had. Well, no, I lied because I've been in the Ferrari, the other one. But yeah, no. Besides that, that was the like before that. That was the only Ferrari I've ever been in, and what an experience! It's pretty.
And we're
Yeah,
back.
totally.
Seamless
Steve's back
Use
in a
the
dope
ninja
jacket
like a
too.
ninja.
Yeah, that's a cool jacket.
Yeah. What's going on? Is that an Alpine
This is the
Alpine racing jacket?
from the Montreal Grand Prix F1. Yeah.
Oh,
Sick.
shit. Not many people can pull that kind of stuff off and not look like a total asshole. So good on you.
Not a total asshole, but a partial asshole, perhaps. Let's
Yeah.
get into some watch and car news. So
Time to go.
I think we've serviced making Daniel's day, giving him the Cartier and the M5. That's a lot. But here's the one for me. This was the GPHG winners were announced, and the diver winner was actually the Tudor Pelagos FXD, my watch, which I don't have on the wrist, but was getting a lot of wrist time. So I think it's a great dive watch, and it's nice that it got some recognition. I think a lot of people thought this was a controversial pick because Omega came out with some pretty crazy dive watches, but I think it's a pretty dope watch. I think that it was something that I wanted to invest in even more. So I just picked up as well a new strap for this bad boy. It's an NDC strap that's actually made from like vintage Marine National parachute pole straps. And so you get like the military numbers, so you can see it
It's awesome.
in the video. As mine has like steel buckle. It's going to be a Nato, so I'm going to throw that right through, and it'll be like a full Marine National kind of experience. So
It's so sweet.
That'd be
that's the
very.
most expensive piece of fabric that I think I've ever bought, but it's vintage, so I thought
Yeah,
it'd be
totally.
a great experience.
Badass.
Yeah.
What do these things retail for? I got no idea.
They vary, but for the ones that are like these real vintage Marine National red stripe straps, I paid $300. So,
Wow.
yeah,
I mean, it's a lot for a NATO, but it's not a lot for a strap or a bracelet.
I I kind of loved that it was like specific to this watch.
Yeah.
Is like a Marine Nationale derived. So, and they were actually asked by Tudor to like supply the straps on some of their old vintage watches for display. So I thought it was kind of cool to get that. So here's what it would look like with the FXT and with that.
Yeah, you made the right choice for sure. That looks really sick.
I think
Yeah.
it's really intense. It looks super military. I think it'll look, and it's going to be a buckle like that. That it'll be a steel one, not like the black one that was shown.
If they, I would have to maybe look at these. They make other. I should look at these guys for because I was gonna say that color. I think would look so good on my bronze,
Yeah, it would.
like the
Yeah.
gray, like greenish color. And I should look to see. I wouldn't go with this, but if they have like a an option with a bronze dial or not a bronze dial, bronze buckle.
They've
Mhm.
got one with the green and the yellow kind of stripe as well.
I like that too.
more
That's really
common one
cool.
that they have. And I kind of like that they have these buckles as well, but it's not kind of NATO style. I don't know what that
Very
exact
cool.
clasp is, but it kind of looks kind of cool. But I'd want to go full NATO. I'd want to stick as close to the military kind of vibe as I possibly could. But yeah, this guy only like launches the formal like Marine Nationale vintage ones with the red stripe, like very rarely, like drops it like maybe once a month or less. And so as soon as it dropped the one time, I missed it, and then he dropped it another time, and I immediately grabbed it. And he's like, "You sure you want it? Because I've got a lot of other people." And I'm like, "I'm sure I want it. Send it my way. I don't care if you can't put that little clasp thing, because I'd rather it be NATO." So yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Can't wait to see it, man.
thanks.
And I think, Peter, you should pursue something like this for your bronze
Yeah,
bay.
I'm super intrigued. I was like, oh, gotta check it out. I need a new strap eventually. I've just been like pushing it off, but like I'm getting to the point where like I'm starting to like I don't know. I don't know if it would ever break or anything or like anything would go wrong, but I wouldn't want to risk it. And it's pretty beat up. So it's like I eventually think, but I don't think they would really ever break. I mean, people rock NATO straps for years and years and years, right? So, but I don't know. It's something a little bit more like it's just not worth risking, I feel like. But
Yeah.
Most of those people don't get their watches put through all of the trials of your watches, man. You have blood on them, you have vomit on them, you have your own sweat from having panic attacks while at work. It's
when he
those
sees
watches
me-
are like super, your watch is like beat up, like massive. So it's great that it's still ticking.
Yeah.
there we go. I appreciate it.
And I had alluded already to the car news. So the Civic Type R, I guess the press embargo got lifted, so a bunch of reviews have come out. I think it probably is an incremental build on the prior Civic Type R, with probably arguably better looks from my viewpoint. I think it is a big improvement in how it looks. But the question is really, does it beat the competition? And I think that a lot of people say, the Golf R still holds its own, and so that was an interesting car, but didn't really pull at my heartstrings. It'll be interesting to see what it'll be like against the GR Corolla. This is a Jalopnik article that kind of was tackling that, because I was thinking, well, which one am I going to go for? I've got a deposit for both. I'm still waiting on both. But yeah, I think that the long termer more likely is going to be the GR Corolla. But now I'm like, the worst dilemma of most privilege is the fact that I'm like, that M5 is so much fun and so exciting. Do I need any of these cars? I probably do. The trunk already broke, so
They
I think
probably
it's a good
do.
idea to get a reliable all-arounder that isn't vintage all the time. It's nice having vintage straps and having vintage cars, but when shit hits the fan, maybe you want a Toyota or a Honda.
That's fair.
Both would be
Especially
pretty
a
cool.
Toyota.
Definitely not a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
See how you said that?
Yeah, I didn't
When
mention.
shit hits the fan, you want a Volkswagen.
I mean, you
Said
want a
no
Volkswagen
one.
within its lease, and maybe not in the first few months of launching. But
Yeah, better than a Buick at least.
these are gonna be like, I don't know. The Civic Type R has touched down in Canada, so I'm kind of like hounding the dealer and being like, so where's mine at? You know, I was actually being told that perhaps it was going to be not till 2024, and I nearly pulled my deposit, and then I was like, let's just wait and see. And so it looks like Canadian cars are arriving, so hopefully in the near future I'll get it. I'm thinking that I'd probably actually want the Civic Type R in red because the carbon fiber bits are actually red weave. So
Oh, interesting.
white, it's like that's a black. But in the red one, the carbon fiber is apparently a red weave. I think they were showing that on not Throttle House, the other one, the other Canadian YouTuber influencers. How am I missing? I don't remember. Whatever.
Yeah, who cares?
They're probably listening and they're crying.
Yeah,
Fuck these guys. We'll bury them.
yeah.
Yeah. Last one that I want to mention that's also on the way for deposit is the Lamborghini Huracan Storado. It came out of camouflage. It looks pretty dope, but how dope is it compared to a lot of cars that are out there?
So dope.
It's kind of cool, but is it like so cool that I would lock in on that compared to all the other cool cars that are coming? I think it looks really interesting. I mean, I don't think that there's any details that have been given. They're gonna do the official reveal later on this month, but these photos look pretty cool. It's got like this army matte green. It's got the front light bars, and it's got like the roof bars, and kind of a little bit more sedate hood, or I guess it would be the
Roof scoop.
scoop. Yeah,
Sorry. Roof?
roof scoop.
You know that thing over your head?
That thing on your head. I think it's kind of cool, but I don't know if it's right for me. I think it's more of a Daniel thing.
Yeah, it's totally a Daniel thing.
So I think it's pretty badass.
Daniel thing. It is badass, but it's
Yeah.
like, would I take this over a GT3 RS? Or would I take it over like all the other cars that I could make big moves on? I don't know. I'll wait for the specs. I'll wait to see like if they massage the engine and make it crazy performing, maybe. I do think that it looks much better in these production photos. It is like kind of a little bit muted with there's a lot of smoke and lighting, so it'd be kind of nice to see what it is looking like in the flesh, but we'll see.
Yeah. If I had one of these vehicles, I would be taking it camping. You know, I'd be doing like lots of fun shit with them. Excuse my language. Fun things. You know,
That in Canadian winters would be crazy.
totally. That's how I see it. Is so that
Oh yeah. All I see when I see those photos is like zombie apocalypse, like taken down. Be
just
like,
mowing zombies over, cutting them in
oh yeah,
half.
that's really all I see. It's just that thing. I couldn't even imagine like driving through like fresh snow in that thing.
Yeah, it
Oh my
looks like it'd be amazing. And then you
God.
have that amazing V10 sound. So you get to go have a blast on these Canadian winter days we have. Like today here, where I am in Toronto, and the snow came down. That is the Lambo you want, other than that,
Seriously.
Do I want
SUV
it?
that shall not be named.
But the question is, do I want that Lambo in the winter? I mean, I got the M5. The M5 is like pretty crazy and raw, right? Do I need more than the M5 to be just fucking nuts?
Why would you not want a V8 and a V10?
I would love a V8 and a V10. The question is, which 10-cylinder engine do I want? And this is the reason why I'm slightly hesitant when something like this comes up. When I see this Carrera GT
I don't even
2015,
want to talk about this.
Yeah, we get it. Fuck this thing.
like this thing is just nuts, and it's like the highest mileage Carrera GT that I've ever seen. 40,000 miles. It's had some paint work. It has a weird story of like, I think it was in Korea for most of its life. It came from the US. So like really arguably like the least collector grade kind of collector car, you'd say. So like how many people want this kind of car? Probably just me, because I just want to drive the shit out of it. And I just
Yeah.
want the ability to have that experience. And to me, I'd move heaven and earth for it, but like within reason, because it's like this isn't a pristine car or a collector car or whatever. So it's not like something that I would just like sell everything to be able to acquire. So like when this thing came up, I was like, yeah, very interested. You know, maybe it would be worth giving up a couple cars, but not everything. And he's like, make me an offer, and I was like, here's my offer. My offer is, I think 850 Canadian would be reasonable. And he's like, nah, this guy wants 1.2 million US dollars. And I'm like, why? Have you seen
It's next.
the recent auctions? Like a high mile that would be 12,000 mile Carrera GT, which is considered high mileage in this cohort. That's compared to this being 40,000 with paint work and with a weird history of being in Korea. Come on, like how can that one didn't even meet its reserve when it went to bring a trailer, and it hit like 1.05 or something mil. So I was like, I think my offer is pretty reasonable if that's not even getting 1.1 million US. I think like the most that you can ask is like 800 US. um but yeah, it was just like we are way too far apart, and that guy has not reasonable expectations from my perspective. So I mean, I'll keep my eyes peeled, but I mean, I think that I would rather take an insane story, kind of beat up Carrera GT over the Storado, at least right now. But plus, that would allow me to keep the F430, because if I could have a Carrera GT and an F430, or if I could have a 4.0 RS and a F430 in the garage, it doesn't really matter what my daily driver would have to be.
I'm pretty sure that Peter and I are both looking for you to reaffirm the promise that you made that you will never sell the Ferrari F430.
I would like to reaffirm that, as long as there's no
That's like a girlfriend being like, I don't know. I'd like to reaffirm my love for you.
for a real grail car, anything is on the table.
Yeah.
For like regular considerations of cool cars to own, the 430 is the most fixed in my collection. But if
Mm.
somebody offers me, like, okay, so say they came back with a pristine car, and it was like medium miles, and they said, okay, here's an 8,000 mile Carrera GT, no paint, no history, it's just from Canada or North America, and we'd like whatever, I guess a mil. Right now that seems kind of reasonable, which is kind of crazy, but the market is coming down. If I could get it at 900, and if I could make it work so that I could still keep the 430, that would be kind of insane. But
That'd be
it's nice
insane
to see
shit.
that everything's coming back to reality. Carrera
Oh,
GTs aren't meeting their reserves. These grail cars that I was after for the longest time, that just felt like they were slipping through my hands, they're coming back down. So
well, you heard it here first. If you have a Carrera GT and you're opening to parting with it and you're reasonable, Steve is a serious investor.
I'm a serious driver. That's the thing.
That's
I'm
what the
not
word I meant to go with. I just blew it at the end.
yeah, that was the thing. Is this? I was speaking to the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, this is a great investment for resale. It's black." I was like, "I don't care if it comes into my grips. I'm never letting go of it, and that's it. It'll just stay with me forever. Like bury me in
Yeah.
that fucking car." The funny thing is, though, everything happens. It tends to work out in the end, because like, you remember I kicked myself when the last time came up where a Carrera GT may have been a possibility, and I've regretted it all the way until now. Well, I was talking to my mechanic, who's worked on most of my, like basically all the exotic cars, and recently did the work on the M5 after I picked it up for 42, and then I did the oil and the brakes, and the sway bar mount was broken, so it needed to be done. And I was like talking to him about the Carrera GT. I was like, oh, this was before they named their number. I was like, I think I've made this offer. And we were talking about this one that got away. The one that got away was a car that was local, and in its first week of its life, got spun out on the highway, went into the gutter, and then had no carbon tub damage, but it did have a little bit of wheel, a little bit of control arm damage, and it worked out to be like 100 grand in repairs done by the dealer. And so that was like, well, maybe that is coming down into my stratosphere. This was about when Carrera GTs that were good, that had no stories, they were solid mileage, they were about 800. And I made an offer, I think I made an offer for like 450 or something like that. Totally rejected, whatever. But it ended up going to another guy for his second Carrera GT as a track car. I found out that that guy bought that car and then the following year had $120,000 repair bill for just miscellaneous shit that needed to be done, suspension.
Holy shit.
So made me think, well, I think it worked out okay in the end.
Yikes, that's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you may think like owning a Ferrari F430 is expensive, and then you jump to a Carrera GT and you really realize what a really expensive car is.
Yeah.
Maintenance on that car must be crazy because it's like they don't make those. Well, I mean, they probably would make some of the parts, but like the parts aren't very accessible anymore. You know what I
They're
mean?
super expensive, and the labor is super expensive because you have to basically pull everything out. Like it's just like, I think a few hours just to change the battery.
That'd be a
Yeah.
crazy car. I've only ever seen one before, like in person, and I think like I don't know, it's just one of the craziest cars. Like there's something about a Carrera GT, like the sound, the look, and like everything about it, like that. It's just it's so fucking sick.
Every single time I've seen one, I can vividly recall right up to the very first one that I saw on the roads in Ontario. In a
Yeah.
Honda Civic, we chased this thing down right into its like residential area, and I think we scared the shit out of the owner.
He probably was shit his pants. He's like, someone's gonna fucking rob me of my Carrera GT.
Last
That's
time
why
I
all
saw
these
one,
Carrera GTs are crashing, is they're being chased by people in Honda Civics trying to take a look at them.
exactly. Last time I saw one, I saw it in Kelowna, and I was actually on the side of the road. It was when a Focus RS was like new, and I saw it parked outside of someone's house, and I like got out of my car and like was taking a couple of photos of it. And then I hear the Carrera GT coming, and I turn around and I'm like running, I'm like sprinting, I'm like I just tried to like hear it forever because it's just like the most beautiful sounding car that I've ever heard. I think yeah, I've had a F40 in my stratosphere, like not financially, but like it's been around me. I've been around F40s before and F50s, but that Carrera GT, I think it's like the best sounding thing I've ever heard.
On a different level.
Yeah. That's
And
also how I feel about the Ferrari super fast V12 and Ferrari V12s in general.
Yeah,
Anytime I hear one, I just like,
they
it's
sound
almost
good.
like an outer
The
body
Carrera GT is even
experience.
better. Yeah,
Well,
the
I'm gonna say that they're equal to me.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't want to pick favorites.
I do.
Honestly, think the Carrera GT is one of the, if not like, I personally think I don't know, it's one of the best sounding cars, I think, in my opinion. There's a few that I could put like top ranks, but I think it sounds like I would rate it way better than any like Lamborghini V10 or anything like that. Like there's just the scream of it. Like it sounds almost like an LFA, like the Lexus kind of thing, like almost similar to that in the same sense, but it's just like
Such a fast revving engine.
it's just race cars, literally all I can think of. Just
See,
crazy.
you
Yeah.
exactly answered my dilemma when I was like, if I get locked into a Storado, what if the window opens up for a Carrera GT or a
Mhm.
RS? Because they're not that far away where it might be possible.
Well, I think it's good to keep your options open then, by the sound of it.
That's
And
fair.
as I think I advise with all people pursuing cars, patience is key.
Especially with this market coming down, reality is going to set in and people are going to have to realize it's not the same as what it was just a few months ago. So
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah.
time to give them back to me.
So what's next?
Next is peace out, motherfuckers. I think this is a good show. We'll end it on a high zone. Keep your eyes
This has
peeled
been
for
good.
GT for me.
Absolutely.
Have a good evening, boys. Peace.